I recently made a short on my thoughts on the tragic Air India 787 crash. While I'm morally conflicted about this, I do think it's important to discuss the subject for future increased safety as well as reassurance that flying is safe. I still believe that the dual engine failure was most likely caused by a bird strike. There are news outlets going round saying that Air India's aviation authority, the DGCA, have ruled out a bird strike, and this is not true. It started off as a DGCA source told them this, which is unverified, and that's being converted to bird strike has been ruled out. And I think that's really bad journalism for the public or anyone trying to determine the cause of this via speculation without having hard data from the flight data recorder, the cockpit voice recorder, and a physical examination of anything left of the engines. And I include myself in this. All I have is a theory from the video evidence I've seen and what I know about the Dreamliner. So, why do I persist with my bird strike theory / speculation? And yes, again, it is all that. I could be completely wrong. At the moment, finding footage of this airport prior to the accident is difficult because social media is flooded with the footage from the crash. Among the noise, I found YouTube channels Air Ahmedabad, Elite Aviation, and Silver Wings on YouTube. These are all aviation enthusiasts spotting planes with cameras at Ahmedabad. And what has become abundantly clear is that the airport has a major bird problem. They have people out there permanently firing shots and bangs to scare birds away. Go and look at these channels. It's actually difficult to find where a plane is landing or taking off, and birds are not either in the frame or there aren't bangs going off in the background to scare them away. This is not normal. Airports will have people monitoring birds and firing explosives, sure, as well as specialized radar and ops cars with loudspeakers so that multiple people don't have to stand at the side of the runway or sit under a gazebo all day in sweltering temperatures firing explosives before every takeoff and landing. Thanks to Air Ahmedabad, this is what a 787 looks like on takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport. Notice no plumes or dust. I pointed out that when the Air India 787 goes behind the building, plumes of something seem to eject from both sides of the engines. This has been ignored as general dust, but I think birds on the runway were startled by the plane and entered both of the engines. Yes, there are no flames. That would come from a compressor stall. There's no smoke. It still doesn't mean that something unseen didn't damage both of the engines somehow for them to completely lose thrust. It's been reported that the surviving passenger heard a loud bang. This has been interpreted by some as the rat coming out. I believe it's birds. Eyewitness testimony is the worst kind of evidence when it comes to the scientific method, and it's usually mainly just used in the courtroom, so we have to take that information with a pinch of salt. Now, one example of a 787 departing from the same airport is not proof that it wasn't just dust being blown away by the thrust of the engines. Here is a 777 filmed by Silver Wings showing dust on takeoff from the same airport. Although it's nowhere near as dense as the dust seen from the CCTV camera on the Air India incident. It's fairly uncommon to see dust at this airport on takeoff. It was the only example I could find. The 787 has an impeccable safety record. This is its first entire loss. While it's been reported that things inside the plane were not working, such as screens and the air conditioning, the 787's environmental control system can maintain cabin pressurization despite the air conditioning not working. This has nothing to do with its flight worthiness. It's not good in terms of passenger comfort and reassurance, but news-wise, it's just noise and unrelated. People were quick to say that someone lifted the flaps instead of the gear. We know that's not true now, but I knew this because 5 degrees of takeoff flaps can barely be seen on the Dreamliner visually, and it's also not a Cessna 150. It's smarter than that if that mistake was made, which it wasn't. I was probably one of the first to point out the ram air turbine being present. As with everything, we won't know anything concrete until verifiable sources make any kind of official statement, and this could be a while. In the meantime, regardless, I think the airport should be looking very closely at its bird management problem. Thanks for watching.